I'm feeling like a brand new me. For the very first time, I'm not where I'm meant to be. Brand new.
Welcome to Outsmart the Hustle, where we turn hard work into smart work, helping you focus on the high-impact moves that drive your business forward without getting stuck in the grind. Hey Smarties, welcome to the Outsmart the Hustle podcast. I'm Hannah McGinty, your host, and today we're talking about scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset and what that can do for you in your business. I thought this would be a really great topic to talk about during the holidays. Christmas is right around the corner. It is literally Christmas Eve the day that this podcast is dropping. No, I am not recording it on Christmas Eve, you guys. I do this in advance, like a smarty. So we're going to talk about this, right? When it comes to giving, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like your heart sinks when you hear that word? Are you scared of it? Are you actually really happy about it? And this can do a lot with how we were raised. I was raised in a family that kind of held tight to a lot of things. Yeah, we gave here and there, but it was very frugal. And so I think I've carried that into my adulthood, as in, like, I find it really hard to give money in particular. And I'll give like time and everything. And there's nothing wrong with like volunteering and doing stuff like that. But I think there's something there when it comes to giving your resources generously, knowing that, you know, and I'm Christian. And so what I believe is that nothing is my own. It all is God's. And my resources are here to share with everybody in my community, because at the end of the day, when I pass from this world, I'm not going to bring any of it with me, right? And so I can have this outlook when it comes to my stuff. And I think that scarcity can kind of leak in even into like the practical things of my life. Whether that's my house, my dogs, my car, you know, like, but all these things, they will flee. They will fade away. That is the right word. So it's fleeting. There we go. Okay. Pat on the head. So all these things are fleeting, right? It's hard to think about and to really come to terms to that nothing is ever permanent. I just need to kind of put out this viewpoint so you guys know where I'm coming from. But the abundance mindset, which is the exact opposite of what I've been talking about, right? There is something about it that helps you be a more profitable business owner. And I'm not saying this like a karma thing, like you do good, you get good back. Like maybe there's some truth to that, but I really think it's like people are attracted to abundance. They know when someone's being genuinely generous and gravitate towards that person. So I don't know if you guys are feeling this right now with like your bank account, looking at it, and like the gift list was just so much this year, and you're like, how am I going to pay for all these gifts? And maybe some of y'all weren't able to, but you're finding other ways to serve, like in cooking, or maybe you guys did and you're like regretting it on your credit card statement, which it's okay. You'll get through it. I know the feeling when you are like overwhelmed by finances and you're like, how am I going to get through to the next day? Right. And so giving just feels like the last thing you want to do when things around you just feel like they're falling apart. But I would encourage you to consider, what would it look like, despite my circumstances, to still have a giving heart? You know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be your finances. If you literally can't give something, you don't need to give what you don't have. And a mentor told me that once, and it really changed my perspective on giving. So we're going to look at some really fascinating people. I just have two in this example. But for those that know me, they know I really am a big fan of Steve Harvey, which can really surprise a ton of people. I just think he's super funny, okay? But he has an amazing backstory. And for those of you that don't know it, he was homeless before he was a comedian. He lived out of his car. He showered at gas stations while trying to become a comedian on this journey. He had it really rough, but he's pretty open about how he relies on God to getting him to the next thing. And he's very, very open about that nowadays. And he's just so inspirational. Through those tough times, he kept giving. He shared what little he had with fellow comedians, trusting that God would provide for him the next day. He helped others get stage time, and he was just building a community while he didn't have much going on for him, because he was such a genuine human. I mean, literally, guys, look at him now. He has the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, where he's helped thousands of young people through mentorships programs and providing millions for their scholarships and education. And it's just like inspirational, that someone who came from nothing was able to do something really amazing. And he often says that true success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you can do for others along the way. Wow. So the other one I have is Guy Fieri, because I feel like everybody knows who this guy is, the mayor of Flavortown, right? During the pandemic, he raised $21.5 million for his fellow restaurant workers. And it's not because he had to. It's literally because he understood that true success meant lifting up your entire industry. He was like, I have this platform. Let me help make sure that a bunch of these restaurants who were going to close because of this pandemic don't. Like, he found a way to do it. And that's really cool. He didn't think about just preserving himself during the hard time, right? And I think there's something to that. I don't think he did that just because he was like, oh, look at me. Look at all the good I do. It's not about that. It's really like, how are you going to be able to use your abundance mindset to help people despite what your circumstances look like? So I know these are celebrities. You're probably like, I'm just trying to make rent. I'm just trying to keep up with my side hustle or my business. And I get you. I hear you. Okay. I've totally been there too. I call it like my mana era. It's a very niche thing, you guys. But I was experiencing something that was like month to month. I was going paycheck to paycheck. And even as a 6-figure business owner, there's actually like a lot of 6-figure business owners who are currently living paycheck to paycheck, at least this year alone, because expenses have been so high and bookings not as often. That has been really interesting to navigate this year in particular. And that's just me being honest with you guys. But I had to go month to month, and it's not like I wasn't making enough or being in a negative deficit, but it was like, oh, geez, what am I supposed to do? It was tough, but do I know how to make a living for myself? Yes, of course. But was I still really dependent on God and where I was going to get the next gig from? Yes. And that was this year. And that's okay. I think that, we have to be honest and upfront and really help support one another when things even look bad for our own. But we're here to stand together in stuff like that, just in case something happens, So yeah, that was just me. I'll get off the soapbox for a second. Giving changes something in our hearts. Like psychologically, fundamentally, being someone who is generous, someone who doesn't make excuses for I can't do that. Instead, let me find out how I can do this. There's just something about that changes you. It doesn't have to be money, okay? But you could use your skills to help others. Like if you were really good at coding, what if you help somebody with their website, right? If you are really good at making connections, what if you helped people make those transactions? Maybe you could find a way to multiply impact without multiplying expenses, right? If you're a really good accountant or you just are really good at handling money, what is it that you can do to help the people around you in their time of need? It's a season of giving, but hopefully every day is a season of giving. It's not like just Christmas time and then we're back to being selfish. So anyway, I just want you guys to remember that the real move here is to not be selfish and just see how much you can gain from your businesses, but see how can your business become a tool to help the people around you, because people are going to notice that. They're going to be like, dang, this person is really cool and I want to be involved in what they're doing, or I want to help them do more of what they're doing, right? Okay, if you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to share it with a fellow business owner who could use a little less grind and a lot more growth in their business. And I will see you guys next Tuesday.
Feeling like a brand new me.
Outsmart the Hustle is produced by Memoir Mastery, a film business course, hosted by Hannah McGinty and edited by Manuel Mesa. Follow us at Memoir Mastery literally anywhere for more creative business tips.